Want to bet? You can do it. Sports Interaction. It's Canada's sportsbook. Football continues. World Series right around the corner. And of course, we've been talking about it and we will continue talking about it. Hockey season has started. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of the many prop bets made for Canadians by Canadians. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, easy to play, and easy to cash out.
High five.
High five. Woo! Yeah. High five with the prop on the table. Join now to see all that sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Ontario only, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. High five. I look at the way the season ended last year. Who did the Leafs have to play in the playoffs?
Tampa.
Right. They had to play Tampa. That sucks, right? Tampa's really freaking good. And you know what? They're in a division of really good teams. The Leafs finished last year with 115 points. The Florida Panthers, who I would argue are on par, or I think the Leafs are better than Florida, honestly. That's honestly how I feel. Team to team, I think the Leafs are a better team. The Florida Panthers finished with 122 points. If the Leafs had gone 4-2, they would have been within striking distance of the Panthers all season long in that first 7-game stretch. And I know that I'm cherry picking here a little bit, but how you start, we talked about it last show, how you start really matters. Imagine they win 1, 2, 3, 4 of the first 7, 5 of the first 7.
Well, and then
game,
all of a sudden,
game
against Pittsburgh. So it's not just a matter of winning and losing. They were outclassed by Carolina. I remember that game. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh didn't show up.
Yeah, that was because Malkin and Crosby didn't play that game, right? It was Evan Rodriguez was the top line center.
And context matters. And this was driving me insane around the discourse of this loss. Guys, they're going to lose games. The Coyotes are sub-NHL. They are beneath the standard of the best hockey league in the world, and the Leafs lost to them. They needed to come back to even tie the thing, and then they blew it with a stupid penalty with 2 minutes to go. That was before the hand
That
passed.
was a stupid penalty.
Yes,
Crazy.
Leafs fans can overreact. If the Leafs beat the Coyotes on Monday and then they lose to Dallas on Thursday, no one bats an eye because Dallas is fine. Good
goalie. Jesse's favorite.
Yes. No one bats an eye if you lose to the Dallas Stars because the Dallas Stars are supposed to be in the mix. The Coyotes, and the Coyotes know this, to be fair, are supposed to be free point night. You got the Coyotes at home in the middle of a homestand. Free pair of points.
And they don't get to play a home game.
And your problem, the reason your coach thinks you lost is you had a shift in the first period where you were too good? Holy fuck, you're in trouble. You're in so much trouble. Reconsider what you're doing. You don't need to play hockey. You can do anything you want. Life's too short. Just quit and skip it. If your problem is you're too good, and that's why you're losing, ew. Don't you see why so many of your own fans are sick of you? Like, Pete Blackburn had a great tweet. If there is a path to the most embarrassing way to lose possible, the Leafs will find it.
Well, Nick Ritchie scoring the first goal was so poetic.
Free money! Free money! Every betting company on earth that had Nick Ritchie scoring first lost, I hope, billions. That's free money.
Write it in a story, in a cheesy story, and the Leafs will find it. They'll make it real. Sometimes they just do. And listen, you can talk to me all day and I'll listen about how good this team is. But the bar is not lose to the Coyotes on a Monday night at home, guys. Yeah, the bar is President's Trophy, Stanley Cup.
And they can
the bar. They honestly
still.
We could say the whole rest of the, and people are like, oh, they're not going to go 82-0. But again, it's who they lose and how. Who they lose to and how.
You lose to Dallas, I don't even bat an eye.
No.
I go, Dallas is
well,
good.
Shit happens.
You can't lose the Coyotes at home.
You know why I don't mind the start they had last season?
Why?
Because after that stretch, Adam, what were they at the beginning of the season? What was the stretch?
They were like
2-5-1 or something?
2-5-1, but then they won 5 or 6 in a row after that.
They won 14 of 16 in November.
They went 15-2.
Holy shit.
Imagine.
15-2 after that start.
Imagine they'd gone 15-2 and started 5-2.
Imagine they won every single game of the
Jesse,
season.
that's disingenuous. Honestly,
I don't hate the start to last season because of how they rebounded after that stretch. You know, and if they do something similar, like then you can pick it up. There's a way.
If you see how I changed my mind. Jesse's actually very kind because you're moving the goalposts for this sad sack of a team.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that come up on Twitter all the time. It's not like this, like the middle of the season and the end of the season matter. So does the beginning.
Oh yeah. But there's plenty of season left for them to make it up.
I agree, but I don't want them to have to make it up. Like, especially against the Coyotes. Like the one thing I have with the Leafs is
we're talking
like,
about this one game.
Right.
I know. And listen, that's
game was embarrassing.
We're here to overreact. So let's overreact. My thing is, what I never see out of this Leaf, I want to see one day. I want this team because they have so much talent and they're so freaking good. I want them to just outright dominate somebody.
What if they don't? They don't have that? What if you?
They are that good,
Jesse.
though.
Are they?
That's the concern.
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting to the
You don't
point
think
where
so?
they're good.
We're only 4 games
bad.
in. We're only 4 games in, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm getting major 2019-2020 vibes.
No,
Yeah,
come
no,
on.
That season was unbridled agony. Please, for the love of God, don't repeat that miserable piece of shit of a season.
Jesse, I want to hear more about what you have
That
to say there.
season was terrible.
Like you guys are expecting, let's go out and dominate and just. I don't. What this team hasn't done that. They've never done that.
They rack up a lot of points.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like they'll do that, and they'll finish maybe second in the division or whatever. Have a good. They might win a round, but like they're not. I don't expect them to go out and kill teams. They don't have it in them. They've never proven that.
Beat the Coyotes 3-2.
Nah, they don't have it in them.
Oh,
When I would like a
get up for the game.
I want a couple 7-1. Just hey, you're 32nd in the league, and we're gonna rub your fucking face in it.
Yep.
That's what I want to see the Leafs do. I want to see the Leafs go out and go, hey, you're the Coyotes. You don't have a place to play. We have no idea what your ownership situation is, and none of you really would be at this level if you were on any team higher than the Coyotes. I'm going to rub your face. Instead, the Coyotes come in and do it to them.
They play the Sharks next week. I'm just going to.
I think it'll be fine against the Sharks. What I thought was, I could think was like, I wish that controversial call, the glove pass call, hadn't have mattered.
Yeah.
I wish it hadn't been a factor. And I hate to quote Babs, but leave no doubt against the Coyotes, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. That to me is the controversy. It's the 50 minutes.
Leave an abundance of doubt. The Toronto Maple Leafs story.
A lot of this is reminding me of the bubble season, like you said, Steve, because
No, the bubble season was the next one, 2020, 2021.
oh, so well, this is reminding me of the next following season because I think that was just
Wasn't that the Ayers season? The Ayers game
No,
season?
Ayers was 1920.
Ours was the 1920. Yeah, so the bubble season. We're thinking the same season. I'm thinking when they restarted the league.
Because they
the
did,
bubble
yeah.
playoffs.
The bubble playoffs. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Bubble playoffs. So we're
So that
talking about the
yeah.
same season.
Yeah.
Because going into those playoffs, the expectations were like, oh my god, they're gonna beat Columbus. You know, they're gonna get it and all that stuff. But looking at it on paper and the season they had, they were an 8 seed. They were an 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Why were our expectations so grandiose? They're a team that fired their head coach. They lost a whole bunch of games. And like here, why are we expecting this Leafs team to get up for these games when they've never done that? Like last season, amongst this 15-2 stretch, they had that 8-3 win versus Colorado.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
They got up for
because
that
they
game.
should have. Because Colorado was starting their 17th goalie.
Yes, and they dominated here, but like they don't usually win these games. They don't have regular seasons where the Leafs look good throughout. No, they're very shaky.
They don't have a taste for blood.
Not at all. And year after year after year, we see that, and we refuse to believe it.
They're not predator, they're prey.
We keep thinking that they're this 5-time Stanley Cup champion players on the team, and they've never won anything.
So they have prey DNA.
Drop back a little, and of course they lost to Arizona.
So I have a question.
The sooner they learn to be, and sorry, one
please
one
go,
thing,
go.
I don't expect them to dominate. That what hurts is I hope
They can.
No, when have they done it?
Yeah, I know.
They can. They can.
But they could.
They haven't.
They might.
They can. They haven't. I don't know.
In
Yeah.
theory, when I was born, I could have been a professional hockey player.
You could have.
Yeah.
He might. He's only 34.
I could still,
Show me the evidence.
but there's not an abundance
Okay.
of evidence to
Like
support that
lay
thought.
out the evidence that the Leafs are one of the best teams and have a shot at the Stanley Cup.
So let me ask you this. Because I think you guys, I think you're right, Jesse. I think it's just, we've never seen that killer, okay, now we're going to put these guys to bed. Like, let's start digging their grave. Like, that's the kind of, like, there are teams, it's like, uh-oh, like, this is the unstoppable force and we're going to get crushed. There are teams that can play like that.
Pittsburgh never plays like they give a shit about you.
No, they don't.
They bury you under the earth.
And if
And
you're
they do it to the Leafs all the time.
if you're a fan that doesn't get to watch a lot of teams outside of your own, watch the Pittsburgh Penguins if you can sometime. Just playing anybody. My question to you is, at some point, everybody had to develop the killer instinct. Pittsburgh's a great example. So Crosby and Malkin, no one could ever accuse them of not showing up when it matters.
No.
And that's early in the season too, by the way. So my question is, how do you develop that? These guys are still, and I know people are going to roll their eyes. I know Leaf fans are going to roll your eyes at me. They're still quite young. There's still time. None of these guys, none of their big three, are in their prime. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, not in their prime yet. So what do you need to do? What is it? What's that gear? How do you find
what
that?
if they don't have it in them?
I mean, I find it hard to believe that because they've got all the skill in the world. You're telling me that you can't learn that?
It takes a different type of skill to win a game 7.
You know when the Leafs season turned around last year? Like we talk about the bad start and then they clicked. The bad start was unusually bad for them. The hot streak was unusually hot. Like no one is going to win. What was it?
15-2.
15 out of 17 games. Like I don't think the 2002 Detroit Red Wings did that. No one's going to do that. But what was the turning point? Do you guys remember? There was a moment and it was the turning point. Matthews and Hall screaming at each other mid-game because they were mad and fed up that they were playing like shit. They need to get mad because they don't even getting mad is what engages them in the game. They're not mad. They're fat and happy, even though they haven't eaten a meal since the 60s. They got to get mad. So the best thing for this team, given recent history, is them getting smacked around for the next little while.
Well, maybe there's an instance versus Dallas where that happens.
A Mason Marchman hat trick where he dangles Dennis Malgin is.
Ooh. Is it on the books?
It is 12:33. The game is tomorrow in, what is it, 30 hours, roughly?
About that.
I called the Nick Ritchie goal and the Leafs losing. So, again, Pete Blackburn's tweet, if there is a path to the most embarrassing loss possible, the Leafs will find it. It's got to involve Mason Marchman. Let's see it. I can't wait.
Is Wednesday night hockey not a thing? Why aren't they playing tonight?
I don't know.
I bet I bet it is a thing eventually.
Fucking, you work there.
I work on the YouTube channel.
Hey, Steve, have you ever heard fucking you work there?
Some inside info would be nice.
They don't have a Wednesday night game for the rest of October. They've got 2, 3 in November.
Oh, okay.
But they have 5 Wednesdays in November, so 2 of them they will not. So anyway, listen, we could look back at this podcast at the end of the season if they win the President's Trophy, and I think they need to. I think you got to control your own destiny. If you're the Leafs, you need to choose who you play against, and you have to win the division. And in fact, I think you got to win the division. I think you got to win the President's Trophy. And to be honest with you, if they had even been neck and neck with the Panthers last year, or they had beaten the Panthers last year, the Panthers had blinked in a divisional race. The Leafs are not playing Tampa in the first
How about
round.
not blowing leads to the Panthers?
Well, they're not playing the Lightning in the first round, right? You get your all Florida first round matchup, and then the Leafs play the Lightning in the second round. Maybe they lose in this game 7. We're going, well, that's okay.
Did you see that the last time the Leafs beat the Coyotes outright, like the Coyotes didn't get a point in Toronto, was October 17th, 2002? Do you know what's significant about that date?
What is significant about that date?
That's Matthew Nye's birth date.
Where's Matthew Nyes from?
Arizona.
It's the curse of Matthew Nyes.
The
I love
Matthew
it.
Nyes curse. The day he was born was the last time the Leafs beat the Coyotes
I hope this,
at home.
fingers crossed the streak keeps going so we get something like Babe Ruth type with
Oh,
the Yankees
no.
and the Red Sox. It'd be fun lore for sports.
It would, I guess.
I'm a sports fan. I'm rooting for
Um,
that. The curse of Matthew Nyes would be cool.